the whole "what is a woman" thing. God, the right is milking this for all it's worth. We watched the Josh Hawley interview on Fox, and I thought they were going to show the clip, and they didn't, and then I forgot to pull it up myself, so I want to show you the clip right now. Yes, I want to show you exactly what happened. I found the longest clip I could.
Visit with you, Ms. Meskey, but before I do, I just want to clear one thing up. Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really
a great answer.
Rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your
I love this woman.
The core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing that.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
because of my line of questioning? So we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist.
I'm denying that trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can get
So you are
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom?
Yes.
Are students allowed to question you?
Absolutely.
Or are they also treated like this, where
No,
they're told that they're opening up people to violence?
We have a good
by
time in my
questioning?
class. You should join.
Oh, I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Ooh.
Well, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot
I
just in
know.
this exchange.
Absolutely.
Extraordinary.
What a pompous asshole. You goddamn right, Hawley's a moron. Right-wingers are morons. He's slick, though. Porg, what's going on? Merkin, love you guys. I just want to point out, when we're talking about violence, Glad says that social media has failed the LGBTQ community. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok all get failing marks when it comes to protecting LGBTQ users on their social networks, according to a new report from GLAAD. Civil rights groups say there is a direct connection between the online harassment and discrimination faced by members of underrepresented groups and real-world violence and erosion of civil rights. Huh. Josh Hawley. This may be what we're talking about. You went on Fox News and tried to act like everybody else is stupid. Social media platforms, these 5 in particular, play an outsized role in this ecosystem of hate and misinformation. GLAAD CEO Sarah Kate Ellis said in an interview, they literally control the on and off buttons of live hatred against marginalized communities. By the numbers in its report, GLAAD gave scores below 50 out of 100 to all of the companies, with Instagram at 48.38%, or 48.38, not percent. Facebook at 46.3, Twitter at 44.7, YouTube at 45.11, and TikTok at 42.51. All of the groups got points for having at least some policies protecting LGBTQ users from harassment and attack, but lost points for both the limitations of their policies as well as actions taken in upholding their policies. Twitter and TikTok got credit for prohibiting users from misgendering or dead-naming transgender people, while GLAAD found the training given to content moderators lacking at all of the social networks. I want to know what content moderators. I don't think there's live people. And Hawley's not the only lawmaker pulling out the what is a woman bullshit. Here is Representative Andrew Clyde of Georgia.
Law Center.
So this is the president of the National Women's Law Center. The president of the National Women's Law Center. He thought it was a great time to ask what is a woman or whatever.
The National Women's Law Center. I was hoping that you could define what a woman is for us in this committee hearing.
Well, as the president of the National Women's Law Center, you can imagine I say woman a lot in my day job.
Okay, so I'm just asking for the definition.
So what I'll tell you is I am a woman. That's how I identify.
Okay.
But I wonder, however, if in part the reason that you're asking a question is that you're trying to suggest that people who
I am
don't
simply asking the
identify as
question,
women
and I
can't
simply
be
want an
pregnant.
answer.
And so I think
Why
it's
is it
actually
relevant
really
to anything?
important to be very clear here that there are people who identify as non-binary. I think
Okay.
about
all right.
5% of young
We're not
people
going to go
do,
there. I was hoping
who
maybe
can
you would.
be
I was
pregnant.
hoping that maybe you would say something that maybe we learned in high school biology that has to do with X and Y chromosomes.
Honey. X and Y chromosomes. I can present you with people who have X and Y chromosomes and a uterus. Sir? Your high school understanding of biology is too simplistic. Swyer syndrome is a condition that affects sex development. Sex development usually follows a particular path based on an individual's chromosomes. However, in Swyer syndrome, sex development is not typical for the affected individual's chromosomal pattern. People with Swyer syndrome have female external genitalia and some female internal reproductive structures. These individuals usually have a uterus and fallopian tubes, but gonads. You're wrong. You people are fucking wrong. And you're so arrogant in how wrong you are. You're so arrogant in how fucking wrong you are. I have no idea. I have no idea about different gonads tones. That's over my head. I mean, science is not really my my eyes kind of glaze over. And we're getting ready to get to crime videos and shit. Don't you want to watch crime videos? Yeah, I almost want to skip over Ben Shapiro. I think it's short though. Let's watch Ben Shapiro. Going on a rant about trans suicide. Like I don't understand why they devote so much time. So much, and like once again, referring back to the GLAAD report of amplifying hate and leading to violence against LGBTQ people. And this motherfucker's gonna come on here and talk about like I don't even know the point he's gonna make about trans suicide rates. So let's find out. Let's give him a chance.
That the left likes to bring, and it starts in academia, it bleeds all the way down. The idea is that if you make an argument based in fact that you're going to cause somebody else to commit suicide. Now, in American law, and in law typically, the idea that you can cause someone else to commit suicide is pretty dicey territory generally. And you actually have some pretty specific evidence saying that somebody is telling somebody to commit suicide in order to even attempt to hold them accountable for their commission of suicide, because there's an intervening actor, namely the person.
This is a complete straw man.
The generalized point the left tries to make is that if you say that a man is a man and a woman is a woman, a bunch of people who believe they are members of the opposite sex will be so despondent about the fact that biological reality exists and that you are saying it. Not even that it exists, that you're saying it. That they're going to go commit suicide. There's only one problem with this line of argument. It's complete nonsense. There's no statistical evidence to suggest that the wildly disparate suicidal ideation rate among LGBT people suddenly corrects itself to meet the cis norm, meaning people who know what sex they are and it is their biological sex, the heterosexual norm. That the suicide rates, the suicidal ideation rates, do not suddenly become equal if you live in an area that is highly tolerant of LGBT. They're still wildly disproportionate, which suggests that there are a bunch of other intervening factors, including serious comorbidities with regard to anxiety and depression.
I don't think that's true. What are we measuring it against?
Identity.
Is he measuring it against
We're not allowed to talk about
California?
any of
Because that's
that. The idea is
the
supposed
lurking,
to be- it's because
the
Josh
lurking
Hawley's
variable
movie, the
there
trans
is
kids are now-
capitalism in California. Like, you're like, oh, based on California rates. No, you measure it against like a country that's more progressive. And I bet their suicide rates are far lower.
Come equal if you live in an area that is highly tolerant of LGBT. They're still wildly disproportionate, which suggests that there are a bunch of other intervening factors, including serious comorbidities with regard to anxiety and depression that attend upon LGBT identity. We're not allowed to talk about any of that. The idea is supposed to be...
It's because assholes like you are
trans kids
bullying
are now
them.
suicidal. That is not true. There's no evidence to that idea. And by the way, even were that true, it would not mean that it is now Josh Hawley's job to lie. Truth matters in a society. If some people are unable to handle truth, and this causes them to be more mentally ill or more suicidal, that is not the fault of the truth. We're going to have to find some different solutions.
Dude, you're the one who can't handle the truth. That, like, the sex and gender is far more complex than your little pea brain can handle, motherfucker. Seriously.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Yeah, they're poisoning our elders against trans people. That really sucks. Fuck you, Ben Shapiro. I wish you people could feel embarrassment.